Hi there, everybody. This is Mark Bromley with the Yoranthium book series. And today I was asked a question about the price of my book, which you can see here on Amazon.com, is Yoranthium Lost Hope. And you can go to uranthiumbromley.com and see more materials that I have for sale, like T-shirts and everything else like that. A lot of my prices are actually done through checking out what current prices are like and what is available and affordable. Here on Amazon, when I uploaded this for print on demand as a self-publisher, the book was actually priced by Amazon itself, and you can go to places like Draft to Digital, Lulu, and Barnes and Noble, and you can actually see those prices as well. And they will give you a pretty good idea why the book is priced the way it is, because it's the current thing. Now, I did this conversation with Adams County about current economic conditions that we're actually facing here in Adams County. And while talking to them, they asked me a question about minimum wage and is it appropriate that we have it at $15 an hour? That's what minimum wage is. Now, I reflected on my book price, which you can see right here, $31.65 for the hardcover, 35.08 for the paperback. I don't know why the paperback is more than the hardcover. It doesn't make much sense, but I'm seeing that they are inflating the price for the paperback on several different sites. Looking around the marketplace here, like for here, we have the Yoranthium Lost Hope. This is the hardback. This is the back-to-back poster. You can get this poster if you want. I do offer that. And this is back-to-back. This is Rel Relmir, and this is Kamithra, main characters in the book. And as you can see, the book for the hardcover is $31.65. A lot of people say it's a lot, but it's 2 hours of work. And I went back into the past of $3.35 an hour. That's what I was making back in the 1980s. And I bought a book back then that was $7.50. And we'll show you that a little bit later in this video so you can actually see what that book actually was. And it's an inspiration for this book, by the way. A lot of the books that I've read are inspirations for this. And there's a whole torrent of books I can go through showing you on Amazon right now the book prices. Now, this book right here that you're buying, if you want to see what it actually is, it's published by me, MPB Enterprises, my company. It's 485 pages. It's actually meant for ages 15 to adult, and that's the only selection they gave me for some reason. But it's actually 15 on up because of some of the concepts are actually appropriate for adults. And this book is 6 by 1.41 by 9 inches. It weighs 1.79 pounds, and it has 485 pages in it. Because it's print on demand, the price for $31.65 is the same prices that you would have encountered for a 4 by 7 inch paperback book in 1987. And you'll see that book a little bit later on in this video. So yeah, is it appropriately priced for 2024? Yes, it's appropriately priced. And you'll see that there's a lot of other books that are also just like this book that are hardback books. They're 6 inches by 9 inches, roughly around 400 pages, and they all have a pretty high price to purchase the books. I guess a lot of people think that's a high price. It's not really high price. It's actually 1987 pricing for hardback books of this size, of this quality, and of this this nature by me, the author, Mark P. Bromley. So this is one of the best ones, and this is the hardback book. There is a paperback book version of this, and here's the paperback. The paperback is right here. This is also 6 by 9, 486 pages. 6 by 9. There you go. You can see it all right there. And this too has been put out by Draft to Digital. And for some reason, they charge more money for the paperbacks. I guess they want to encourage hardback book sales. So it's 35.08. And if you actually help me out, buy these books, and you find me over at the conventions and stuff like that, and I start doing author appearances, you can get author copies of the book for much less. But first, I need to raise a certain amount of money so I can actually purchase those books so I can have them for my author events to sell at the places that I do show up and actually do that. So this is the 6x9 paperback book. You can see here that it does actually have a considerable amount of price. I mean, there's a back cover to it, which is very nice. It's a very well done cover. This paperback book was done in colored pencil on a large panel. So this is actually a 2-foot by 3-foot panel uh, that was done in colored pencil for the mermaid kissing scene that actually exists in the book of Yoranthium. And that's also Rescue Swimmer. That is actually another poster as well. This is back to back. This is the other poster. And this is what they have on Amazon. Now you can go from Amazon to Barnes & Noble. Barnes & Noble right here also sells my book for paperback $27.32. This is actually the pocket paperback. This is 4 by, well, let's go down and take a look at that. This one right here is 4 by 6 by 1.5 inches, 688 pages because of its size. It's 4 by 6, so it has more pages. It's almost a 700-page book, so it's pretty bulky. It's 688 pages accurately. And this is a paperback that you can get through Barnes & Noble if you would like to get a lower cost on your paperback, and they offered a pretty good deal right there. So are these prices correct? Yes, they're correct for 2024, considering that minimum wage here in the state of Colorado is now $15 an hour, which is probably going to go up within the next few years. So there it is. It's the same prices that you see back in the 1980s and 1990s and early 2000s for books. And as you see in this video, I'll show you a few examples of those books so you can actually fully see it. Now, you don't have to go through just Amazon or Barnes & Noble. You can also order the book through Walmart, which currently only has the paperback version of the book. They don't have the hardback because that's only with Amazon and Lulu. Lulu's not being shipped out right now because Lulu's way too expensive, by the way. I don't know why they're so much more expensive than Amazon, but they are. And so I'm not really taking care of the one minor issue on that one because there's no point in doing that because these books are already up there in price as well. And here through Walmart, you can get the 6x9 book right here, which you can see some of the information right there, product details. It tells you about the future books in the series. And yeah, it gives you a lot of good information about that. And this is a 486 pages, and it's a 6x9 paperback book, and you can order it through Walmart if you want to go through that service as well. So you got Walmart, you have Barnes & Noble, and go, and yep, here it is. So hopefully you get the Yoranthium book series. It's a very good book. And some of the other books that I'm going to be showing you in this video are actually some of the resource material that's actually going to be represented in the book series at some later point. And we'll be talking about those kind of actual concepts a lot later. There is a lot of influences by the people that I grew up with who are also authors and have their own books on this on Amazon and Walmart and other places, Barnes & Noble, you can buy their books from. And it's all great and good. So with that, I'll continue on with the other books I'm going to show you. Here is the Amazon.com's paperback book of The Blood of 10 Chiefs. They charge $25 for it right now, here in 2024. Back in 1987, when the first book first came out, it was only 320 pages. As you can see down here, 320 pages, 4 by 7.5 by 7 inches, so 4 by 7 inch paperback book. And this is what I bought in 1987. Now the price for it is $25. That's how much it would take for you to buy it. If you want to buy a used book, it's $25. So that's pretty much in keeping with the prices of Yoranthium. Yes, ElfQuest is an actual inspiration for me to actually write my book about elves. But my book about elves is a little bit different than Winnie Penny's and Richard Penny's books on the subject and the topic. But you'll see some similarities in my storytelling pertaining to this kind of study in elves, and it does come from this. So this is just to represent some of the pricing differences between my book and their book. You have to remember my book is 485 pages. Theirs is only 320 pages. They were 4x7 paperback book. Mine's a 6x9 paperback book. And the artwork is different from me and from them, even though I can do Winnie Penny's art style because I used to practice it when I was playing the role-playing game when I was in high school a long time ago. Well, yeah, I had to draw the characters, so I drew some characters based on that. This is the second book that I want to compare book prices. Now, this is Amazon.com here in 2024. When I first bought this book by Kausas Posner, Leadership Challenge, I was working with Homeland Security at the time. They forced me to buy it. Earl Morris caused everybody to buy it. Mark Lewis, Ron Malin, Dan DeLeo were forcing all their leadership personnel and management to actually buy this book for the Leadership Challenge because they wanted to use the false appearance of love to wrongfully terminate people. They didn't care if they were hurting good employees. They didn't care if they were hurting honorable service veterans. They didn't care if they were destroying their families or any harm that they were doing to these employees. They didn't care one bit, but they wanted to create an atmosphere of hypocritical love in the workplace. And it was actually political persecution and oppression that they were using this book for. It was unfair to Kausas and Posner to be used in such a way because when you read the Leadership Challenge, in the end, it's about love, true love, caring about your employees and the work people, the people that you interact with every single day. But it was wrongfully used in Homeland Security. Now, we were talking about the prices here compared to my book Yoranthium, because people do question the price about my book Yoranthium, which does actually take aspects of the Leadership Challenge as one of the study materials for some of the characters that I developed within the Yoranthium book series to actually explain what's going on in that story. And it's not a bad book, but the way that it was used in Homeland Security, it was used for evil purposes, obviously by the corrupt Homeland Security TSA management in Salt Lake City, Utah. And you can see here that the hardcover book here is $25.99, and if it's buying it new, $25.99. When I bought this in 2003, it was on the dust jacket. It is $28.95. It's 460 pages. It's 6x9. It's a hardback book with a dust jacket, and they still today they charge $25.99. Now, what I was talking about earlier, back in 1980s, the minimum wage was $3.35 an hour. And now today in 2024, it's $15 an hour. So it took me 2 hours to buy a $750 book in the 1980s. Here, when I was working with Homeland Security, that was probably my hourly wage, well, an hour and a half of labor. So an hour and a half of labor to buy this book that was forced on us by a criminal management that was neglectful and abusive of its people and its staff in the state of Utah. So now you can see the price of this book is still currently pretty high. It's not $28.95, but it is $25 because they have a large stock. They don't do this on print on demand. They have it in warehouse because they ordered a lot of these books back in 2003, and a lot of government agencies were using it as a means and a tools of political persecution within the government workplace back in 2003. So There's another book to explain why you should get the Yoranthium book at the price that it is, because it is a 6x9. It's a beautifully created book. The artwork's mine, the writing's mine, and it's based on the subject materials that I'm showing you right here. Okay, the third book that I wanted to show you was the book Bushido. I bought this book in 1998 overseas when I was with the Navy, and it cost me $19. The book copy that I have, the dust cover, has it printed as $19. This is what cost me in 1998 to purchase this book called Bushido. Now here on Amazon, we can see that the price here is $16.18 for this book that was printed up in the late 1990s, and there's a lot of these books floating around out there. Apparently they have a warehouse, they're in a box, they've been printed up, they've been mass printed a long time ago. When they first were being sold, they were being sold at $19 a book. And let's get down to some stats on this book so you can understand it. It gives you a publisher. The hardcover book is 160 pages, which is about accurate. It's what I have on my bookshelf. The ISBNs are accurate. The dimensions is 5.5 by 7.5 inches, roughly. So it's all hardback, has a dust jacket, and that's basically what it cost back in the 1990s to purchase this book, which is $19. I think when I was working with the Navy, I think I was getting paid probably roughly about an hour and a half worth of work to purchase this book back in the 1990s. And it's a very light book. It's only 160 pages. We all know that this is basically 160 pages, and we can see that it's not as much content as the Yoranthium book series is, and that just justifies the print cost of my book, which is 485 pages compared to 160 pages. So you do the math on that one, and you realize my book is at least 2.5 times larger, has more volume. It's a 6x9 book compared to a 5.5 by 7.5 book. So 6x9 has my original artwork on it, my original writing in it. And this is also a book that is inspirational in the context of the material that I produce in the Yoranthium book series is based on this book, Bushido. This was recommended to me when I first met my wife in Japan, and her cousin suggested that I read this book right there, along with a few other psychology books and things like that to understand the Japanese way of doing things. And because I was trying to convert over there and work for Japanese companies, and one of my biggest problems over in Japan is that I was Americanized. So I thought competitively, when you're actually doing interviews, that's not how Japan works. They don't work through competition. They work through group collective effort. And it was interesting trying to interview like an American, but that's not what they really wanted. They didn't really want the Americanized workplace. They wanted the Japanese workplace collaboration, and so that was a learning experience right there. So here's another evidence of why the Yoranthium book series book price is correct. Okay, now we are talking about The Alienist by Caleb Carr. I do have this book. It is a hardback book with a dust cover, and when I purchased it, it was around $22, I think, for this book. As you can see here in Amazon, the hardcover book is $26.34. So this is in 2024. This is a mass-produced book. There's a lot of these books that were printed. I should note that this book was actually assembled a lot differently than most books. The publishing company did not trim the pages before release. They just left the pages as is. So I think that's a statement by the publisher and the author of this book series because of the nature of The Alienist, which is a psychological book. It's psychology, and it's an influence in the Yoranthium book series as well. And this book right here, once we go down here, we find out that it is 496 pages. 6.75 by 9.5 inches. So it is slightly a little bit bigger than the Yoranthium book, my book Yoranthium, and we go into this whole story about this book author right here himself, and we can see that the book price for this book is also quite 2024-ish. And at $15 an hour minimum wage, we truly understand that the book prices for my book, Yoranthium, which is a hardcover book, 6 by 9, we can see another example that, yeah, my price for a print-on-demand book that's not published in bulk, it's printed up as you order it. So the book that you get is going to be fresh off the presses when you actually order it. So that's a big thing right there. So yeah, here's another book just detailing the prices and the cost of actual current prices. So yeah, my book is roughly in the same price category, but it's a self-published book, print on demand, and that's why the price is accurate for what it is. And like I said, $15 an hour is minimum wage. It matches the minimum wage that was back in 1980s, and for the amount of time that you have to work away to buy a book, it's a fair price. And like I said, this is on my bookshelf. So a lot of the books that I'm showing you here are books on my bookshelf, actual books that I purchased. These are hardback books, they're real books. So let's continue on and show you another one. All right, let's talk about another book. Now, a lot of people actually have similar hobbies that I had when I was growing up back in the 1980s. For the 1980s, my book that I purchased back in the 1980s was Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader. Everybody remember the Rogue Trader years? Well, mine was the hardback book, not the paperback that they're selling, and the paperback goes for a pretty high price as well. But this is the new hardback book, and I thought I'd just show you the new hardback book so you have something that is actually circa 2024 to actually compare to. Now, you can see the big price here. It's 15% off, and this price is $55.25. The original price for this book is $65. So yeah, I purchased an earlier edition of this back in Rogue Trader. I think Rogue Trader did cost around about $25 to $35 back in the 1980s. So this book has always been a pretty beefy book. It's a pretty thick, heavy book, especially if you get a hardback version of it. And as you can see, it's pretty highly priced. We can see the statistics on it right here. It's 12 by 10 by 4 inches. Seems pretty thick. It's 2 pounds and 14 years and up. So that's the age group right here. And they put it in games because it's actually a game by Games Workshop. And the number of pages in this thing is quite a bit. I'm pretty sure of that. So yeah, this is what it is right there. And yeah, it's at $65 if you pay the full price for it. $65. It's $55.25, and yeah, my book price is pretty accurate and pretty good. So we are seeing that that is quite common there. Now, the stories in the Warhammer 40K book, they are kind of a little bit inspirational for some of the concepts of Gothic horror that I'm talking about in the Yoranthium book. So that's what you're really looking at there. Okay, now we're back to my book, Yoranthium Lost Hope. I do actually hope that you actually now see that the prices that I'm giving you for my book that are being represented online are good prices. They're fair prices. And considering our current time of 2024 to 1980, we can see there was a big difference between what minimum wage used to be and what minimum wage is today. And if you're getting $15 an hour, it's not uncommon to find books being priced at this type of pricing, taking 2 hours of labor. Now, my take on what minimum wage is, it's a starter wage for people in their early years to the age of 25 to actually get some experience in the job markets, working in the United States, and that's what minimum wage is for. If I get elected to office as a statesman, as a politician and stuff like that, I will be actually trying to keep minimum wage appropriate uh, to the age groups required. So there would be minimum wage as a starter wage. And then if you're in the age group of 25 to 35, you should be making somewhere between 1.5 to 2.5, 2.5 times higher than what minimum wage is between the ages of 25 to 35. Between 35 to 55, you should be around 3% to 5% higher than what minimum wage is, because you do have a lot of experience, you have a lot of skills. And if your employers aren't respecting you and they're just using you as cheap labor, then we do have problems with our employment methods and the employers in the world. A lot of businesses have a lot of bad employers, and they have a lot of terrible people. I mean, you heard the little bit I talked about Homeland Security. Yeah, I ran into nothing but evil people. And in the Yoranthium book series, a lot of the evil characters come from Homeland Security, come from the federal government, and they come from the United States because they are not very nice people. And they do shoddy things, and they are very shady characters, trying to pretend that they're nice people, but they're not. They're awful. They like to do terrible things, and they don't care if you serve this nation with honor. They don't care that you're a veteran. They don't care that you have a family. They don't care about a lot of things, and they just like to hurt and ruin people's lives. So that's what's in the Yoranthium book series. I do discuss that a little bit. A lot of my evil characters are based off of my experiences in the federal government, and why I don't work for the federal government anymore, and why I write books and sell books. And hopefully you can understand. So you'll actually help me out and help me get elected to office by purchasing my book series. It would be great, wouldn't it? Because now I'll have actual statesmen experience in creating laws and legislation to make a better world, so I can live a better life according to all the positive concepts and ideas that I've gathered throughout my lifetime traveling the world. And I'd like to share that with you. So we find that the book is correct, and the pricing is correct. So I do hope that you do decide to purchase my book. You all have a great day. Thank you very much for watching. There are 3 different books. The hardback is the purple book cover with the back-to-back, which is also available as a poster. Uh, there is the paperback book in 2 different formats. There's the 6x9 book that you can purchase through Amazon and Walmart, and at Barnes & Noble you can only get the pocket paperback, which is the very small one. So if you need to hide this book in your workplace where nobody can see it and stuff, you can just pull it out and read it. It'd be awesome and great and stuff like that. You can do it at school or wherever you're at. It's a lot of fun books and stuff like that. And that's the paperback right there. And as you can see, the best paperback that I recommended was the one from Barnes & Noble, because it's the pocket paperback, and it's the lowest cost one out of all of them. And that's a very good book to actually get as well. So now that you have a understanding of some of the books that I purchased that are on my bookshelf and the prices that I paid for them back in the 1980s, 1990s, the early 2000s, you can see in 2024, with a minimum wage of $15 an hour, my books are appropriately priced. So you all have a great day. Get Yoranthium today. Help me distribute the next books in the series in the future. The Book of Gentry is ready to come out. The Land of the Potentates ready to come out. And that's books 2 and 3. And I'm still working on books 4 and 5. So there's going to be more books in this series, and just get ready for those to come out. You all have a great day. Thank you.